May it be an evening star shines down upon you. May it be when darkness falls, your heart will be true. You walk a lonely road, oh how far you are from home. May it be the shadows call will fly away. May it be you journey on to light their day. When the night is overcome, you may rise to find the sun. May it be the shadows call will fly away. May it be you journey on to light their day. When the night is overcome, you may rise to find the sun. Morning air, May it be an evening star shines down upon you. May it be when darkness falls, your heart will be true. You walk a lonely road, oh how far you are from home.
All right. Hello, guys. It's High Priestess Jamila. How are y'all today? You know, in the past decade, a lot of people have been, hello, Raina, Ledesma, hello. A lot of people have been extremely excited and overzealous when it comes to witchcraft. And whether or not they're trying out a new spell or a new curse, you know, or if they use witchcraft in certain things, even when it comes to religion, they will use the craft for the purposes of protecting themselves when they have done something wrong. For example, if a person wanted to lie on somebody or ruin their lives or ruin their reputation, people think that they can just use witchcraft to protect themselves from the things that they have done. And I've noticed that, especially when it comes to us witches. By the way, I do teach a class on how to protect yourself from this, but then also how to practice witchcraft ethically so that you're not running into problems. Um, and so basically, that is a part of protection. I think that a lot of people needed to go to school to learn about witchcraft instead of just what they heard from their grandma or what they heard about online or whoever they got influenced by. I think that that is a big, huge part of the teachings that I do. In fact, a couple of hours and all throughout my classes in witchcraft, I am constantly reminding people, hey, you have to be justified. You can't be protected when you are trying to harm someone. And so it's very confusing for people. And this is the reason why they have to go by their own intuition, especially when it comes to if you have someone using Christian magic on you, because for some reason, Christians, they feel as though they can do whatever they want. And because it says in the Bible, never such suffer a witch to live, they feel as though witches are just wide open to their attacks, which is why I can understand when I see a witch and when I can confirm that she is being attacked. I can understand. I can understand when witches go very dark because people will try to attack us unprovoked. They will try to use us. A lot of the things that are happening, we can see it because our spirit guides, and you don't have to be psychic to have spirit guides. In fact, psychic powers are a lot more complicated than what people think because a psychic can really, really mess you up. A lot of y'all have issues with psychics. This is one of the reasons why I keep my skulls lit, and I may light up my skulls because, especially if a psychic doesn't have, the saying, idle mind is the devil's workshop. Psychics can sit and they can meditate. They're meditating, and they are affecting certain people with their meditations, and so that is included. You can't just say, oh, I don't practice witchcraft, I just meditate. Well, you're still doing things that you shouldn't do. Okay. Hey, Unique J. Yeah, it does come back to them. It may not come back right away, but when it's time to come back, it is. And spirit works in funny ways, because a lot of the times what I've noticed that spirit will do, and my spirits especially, they will pretend, they will try to, and oh my God, they will take it all the way down to the last second. That my spirits will take people all the way down to the last second, and bam, everything will fall apart what they tried to do to me, and everything will come through for me. I've seen it way too many times. And so that I guess you could say that I do. It is a trickster spirit, because my spirits will create what they, when people have hatred or visceral or things that they want to do to harm me and the people that I love and care about, they will take those people through the illusion that they are going to get what they want, and then bam, it doesn't change. It doesn't. It's happened so many times before. And it's I think that it depends on the heart of the witch, because many of us are nothing but love. We have nothing but love for people. We have love for ourselves. We have love for our families. We have love for the earth. And people, they take that for granted. You know, it's okay. Now, what I want to talk about is one of the important factors that I deal with when it comes to people coming to psychics and witches and asking them to do curses and to do harm and to hex people, and they're lying about what that person did to them. And this is something that you have to be very, very careful with. If you are practicing the craft, you have to be careful. I saw this video years ago, and it was she was like I think she had like a Long Island accent, and she was doing like this love reunion spell, and she was just fussing because she said, I can tell by the way these candles are burning that this woman has never touched or kissed this man. You're stalking this man. And she just was going off, because apparently the lady had lied. Apparently the lady had lied and gave her a story, because maybe perhaps she wanted certain things to happen or whatever. Anyway, you have to be 100% with people, because people will, and see in the in it, people like to, and this is what I don't like, because I started practicing almost 20 years ago. So it wasn't something that I just started in the past several years, 10 years. No, I had experience off of YouTube with the craft. Okay. And, it kind of scared me previously, because I was still very young. I was in my 20s, didn't really know what I was doing. And, and so I kind of walked away from it for a little while, but of course it was always destined that I would come back to it. But see, a lot of people look at what we do as a hustle. It's just a hustle. That's it. But it is so much more than a hustle. It is a huge responsibility. And with that great responsibility, you have to be responsible. Hey, one EQ. Yeah, you have to be responsible when you're using magic. And when you have somebody come to you and say, I want this person to be hexed, I want their lives to be destroyed because this is what they did to me, you have to determine what you have to question whether or not they are being honest with you. You have to learn harsh lessons. People that do that are going to learn harsh lessons. You can't make excuses. And then, especially if you were kind of full of it in the first place, it wasn't something that was in your heart, because our ancestors, our spirit guides, our spirits, our deities, they are in our heart. Okay. And they are going to tell you, warning, don't go forward. And it doesn't matter if the person is a witch or not, but especially if it's a witch, because especially if it's a practicing witch, there have been people that have went, I have seen people's, okay, so a lot of people, here's their consensus. Well, if I wasn't right for what I did to you, then why would God let it happen in the first place? This is the first thing that they do to rationale, to try to rationalize what they have done. They'll say, well, if I wasn't right for what I did to you and you aren't actually guilty, then why did I cause problems in your life? Do y'all know that there are innocent children's bodies being found? That's the silliest question. You might as well ask yourself, why do bad things happen in the first place? So just because a person came to you, a client came to you and lied about what they were saying, and you did cause problems in that person's life, it's not confirmation that the person was telling you the truth. It's not. It's not. That's not the way that it works. That's why I keep saying that God is a magician. But I think that people have to keep their faith. If something is happening to you, you have to understand, especially if you're an innocent person, that you do have to take action. That's why when I come and do my readings and my oracle readings, I let y'all know, no, you got to take action on this. Because what can happen is that you can end up, if you're not taking the appropriate action, you can end up being displaced. And so many people do. We can't just assume. So that's just like making the assumption that everybody in the world that has misfortune happening to them deserves it, and that's disgusting. That's a disgusting, filthy lie. No, there are a lot of people that have had black magic and curses put on them that definitely did not deserve it and was unsuspecting, and they are dealing with a lot of craziness in their life. They're being taught to not pay attention to it and to think of it more so as an act of God. I've been saying this for the longest time, that many of us, our entire lives, have been manipulated by witchcraft. And we didn't even know it for years and years and years. Our families being manipulated by witchcraft. Okay. So if someone comes to you and they're telling a lie and they're telling you to do all these things to people, you're never going to be able to justify it. Hate doesn't even justify it when it comes to the craft, not even your hatred for a person. You can't say, oh, well, I don't care if I hate that person anyway. No, you're gonna have to face the music. You have to be responsible when you're using witchcraft. Witchcraft can be an amazing thing. I I see people all the time. I actually spoke to one of them last night who attempted to do some kind of destruction magic on me, and obviously it's never gonna work. But he said, oh, that witchcraft doesn't work. Yeah, it just don't work for you and ain't gonna never work for you, because you up against me is pointless. I'm sorry. I've been doing this for far too long, and a lot of people see the thing of it is that a lot of people get caught up with with this negativity and the falsehood of that. If you build yourself up and you obtain something, that they want to see destruction of what you have built. Well, I mean, God is looking at that as though, no, this is not only harmful, but this does no good to the world. That's not what it's supposed to be. Oh, I see that person over there has built something. It has to be destroyed. So people that are like that, people that feel that everything that is built must be destroyed, that is not a part of goddess. They only see that the only thing that's going to be destroyed is their evil. When God in spirit sees you flourishing and appreciating, it's all about that appreciation thing. When God sees you appreciating the flowers, the trees, the ground, the air, the sun, the moon, those are the people that are blessed and blissed. The people that are constantly hell bent on destroying everything. So, and I've noticed that there's been several groups in social media to where they just get it stuck in their mind: destruction, destruction, destruction. I'm going to destroy everything that you built, that someone else built. At that point in time, what they're looking at is the magician in the mirror, because they're going to be destroyed. They're going to be looking at that reflection in their own life. There is a such thing as who started it. Yeah. Destructive, evil, baneful people, they don't want to focus on who started it. They don't, because they know that they are the one that sold they are the ones that created those destructive seeds, and they have to sow them. They have to reap what they sow. They don't want to. They don't want to, and they're going to have to. And that's from the bottom all the way up to the top level of corruption. Everybody that is corrupt in that way has a reason to understand why your corruption has to go down, why you have to go down. And especially if, that's why I said people have to be smart. They have to know that God is working in their favor, or their spirits or their ancestors. And you have to believe in that. If you believe that somebody can falsely persecute you, if you ever stop believing in your spirit guides and God, and you start believing in corrupt people, that is when corrupt people will get you. And you never stop believing, no matter what negative energies, when no matter what they're saying to you, you keep your belief intact. Because the moment that you stop believing, then that's an issue. So there's a lot of people out there to where they haven't been taught, or they have no connection with that level of faith. And those are the people that typically can get lost in the shuffle. That's why I always tell my clients, and you can't believe that evil is going to prevail over you, because the moment you believe it, it's going to happen. And people typically, when, because of the presence of evil and the presence of corruption, they don't want to believe that. When you attack an innocent person with witchcraft or any kind of intention, that person that you're attacking has a choice of whether or not they are going to accept it or not. So a lot of people will say, well, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in none of that, because these people were able to do this, or that person was able to do that, or I don't believe in witchcraft because I lit a shut the fuck up candle on somebody and they kept talking. That's not how it works. It's not like in the movies. Yes, I have seen people that lied on me catch laryngitis. I've seen it happen. They just lose their voice. I've seen them have throat problems. Okay. But in reality, when it comes to stopping slander and gossip, it does kind of work different than that, because that person isn't just going to instantly shut the fuck up. Okay. So, you truly have to be careful. The best witches are the ones that are going to tell you, do not attack a person that you are not justified in attacking. Um, Now, that doesn't mean that you can just attack somebody for the rest of their life. Depends on what crime they committed against you. You can protect yourself from them. You don't have to take their crap, because what's happening more and more often is that people are scapegoating on others. People are committing crimes. They're being evil. They're being, what's the word that I'm looking for? Tempted. And their guilt and their that negativity that they're getting behind their actions that they committed, they want someone else to take that. And this is something that has been happening. It's nothing is new under the sun. God knows it, God sees it, and you can't do that. You can't scapegoat on anyone. You can't. And having the presence of witchcraft there, or black magic, saying, hey, I did have problems because of that person's black magic, that's not scapegoating, that's just truth. Because it ain't just about magic, it's about conjure. If somebody decides, oh God, I got to conjure a spirit against a person because I'm, and they do it unjustified, then that spirit is going to go and carry out what you have commanded it to do. And you can't say, oh, well, it was the spirit's fault, or it was that. No, you have to take responsibility for the energy that you put out there. Now, if you were justified, for example, if you have to conjure up a spirit that forces the truth to come out, or if this person's lying on you, or if you have to conjure up a spirit, or if you have to send energy back to somebody that sent you their bad energy, or if it, whatever it is, that's very different. And I think that a lot of people that don't know the difference, those are people that really have no moral compass. Yeah, hey, you're right about that, Unique J. I just looked at that. People are upset about that because it is a fact. It is a fact. And this is not to say that everybody that has heart problems or some kind of heart defect, this is not to say that those people are bad people, but it is very common for people with just bad, I mean, they're just evil, that it just, they don't have the truth in them. They're going to take that evil to their grave. They are. It is a fact that those people typically do have a lot of damage done to their heart. And see, a lot of people, and I've seen them, they have things that have happened to them in their childhood, and they're in a lot of pain, they're suffering. You still don't have the right. You can do it, but just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. If life hasn't treated you well, and you've been through abuse, and you've suffered, and you're sad and you're depressed, you can't go and say, oh, I get to put all of my grief onto someone else. And people have an issue with that. People are confused about that. Whatever your grief is, you are supposed to transmute it. It takes less time. A lot of people spend their whole life trying to scapegoat on other people, trying to put their guilt, put their anguish, put their pain, put their grief onto other people, and it is never going to work. The only thing that is left for that to do is to transmute it. That's it. And you can only transmute your own bad energy. That takes less time. You're going to spend a lifetime doing that. But see, a lot of people get lost. There's other factors, just like what we talked about at the witching hour when we did the reading on the baby boomers. It was a very insightful reading. It explains a lot as to why that generation, and then even the generation before them, a lot of them are under possession of bad spirits and they have no idea who they are. And I believe that our society does need to start mainstreaming this spiritual problem that is happening universally with that within itself. But yeah, they do get jealous if you are a person that I can imagine that somebody that has made mistakes and done things in their life that they're not proud of, that they are upset because you made better decisions. You never did nothing like that. You never was up to no good like that. Yeah. Everybody in this world is not tainted like that. Everybody doesn't harm people. Everybody hasn't done something, you know what I'm saying, to hurt people. No, that's not the truth. But a lot of people that have, they want to believe it's so bad that they're not the only one that has been through that. But that's actually not the truth. So they do get jealous because they know that you're, they call you Miss Goody Two Shoes. And they'll even make up lies about you to dirty you up because they want you to come down to their level. You can't use witchcraft to eventually the bow is going to break. Eventually the dam is going to break open. And you just going to have to come on out with it. It just because a lot of people have been done this way. And what I can tell you is that that's why I always encourage you guys, especially if you have a situation to where you're being gang stalked and persecuted by a lot of different people. Or it may not be gang stalked. It could be that you're being attacked by your own family or either a family of witches. It's important for you to know these things and for you to connect to the energy that is oppressing you, that is attacking you, and is hurting you so that you don't have to hurt. Yeah. Yeah. And then there's the thing with the whole human sacrifice. Okay. People going around saying, oh, I'm going to sacrifice this person. And it has happened. But, that is either going to come out of a person being ignorant that they're a sacrifice, or either they're going to be a willing sacrifice. If a person is not a willing sacrifice, and they fighting, which a lot of y'all that are watching this have been fighting for years. That's it. So a lot of people really don't understand the whole thing about sacrifice. A lot of people have this weird, outdated view when it comes to spirituality. And they think that a person has to sacrifice their life for the life of another. And this is incorrect. That's not how the circle of life works. You're born, you live, you grow older, some people at different rates, and then you die. And some people die sooner or quicker than others. The presence of so that's why you got people that are drawing up these contracts and they're calling to these demons and they're saying, oh, I want to sacrifice the life of an innocent. They may have a short lived, if they're actually able to take that life, they may have a short lived success, but it is bound to come back to them, because that is something that is considered to be false, even when you're talking about Satanism. When you have someone like me that can cancel those contracts, they get very upset. Well, I'm sorry, I was born in the year 1977. Many people just like me and many others were, we were born specifically to stop that chain. The way spirit sees it is that it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. It's not something that's necessary. And I guess it would have to depend on where you're from. Like, for example, if you are from like the California area, if you go down to California and Skid Row, you're going to see a whole bunch of, pimps and drug dealers and prostitutes, or I'm sorry, sex workers. I'm so sorry, sex workers, and a lot of homeless people. And some people are going to look at those people and they're going to go, oh my God, they're going to either feel sorry for them, but a lot of people are going to look at those people and they're going to say, yeah, the world is overpopulated. They're going to say the world is overpopulated because there's not a place in it. But that's actually the wrong way to look at it. Because in reality, when it comes to the homeless and when it comes to people, what they did was they lost their way. That's not a direct connection to the world being overpopulated, and that is not your call. So that's why I said, when it comes to your connection with God, you can't fly all over the place. People, listen, I believe that I am on the 10th dimension, where I believe that all things that I want in this world are possible. It may take some time to get there, but I believe that whatever it is that I want in this world for myself, the good things that I want, not the bad things. I'm not thinking about those people. I'm not thinking about the bad people. I'm thinking about everything that I want, the way I want to live my life, the way I want to live, the things that I want to manifest. But when you start to become tainted and paranoid and delusional, and you think, oh, this person and that person and this person and that person is taken away from me. And this is very common in social media. People get greedy. See, abundance has nothing to do with greed. Those are two different things. And I think that if you just got greedy and ate a little bit too much at supper or breakfast time, okay, that's a little something. It might make your stomach hurt and it might make you feel a little bit, uncomfortable, but that's very different from stealing and taking away from other people. Nobody else has to pay anybody else's debt. So a lot of people who are out there, I'm telling you, because it even says in the Bible, it says that a child should not have to suffer the sins of their father. Guess what? Most of us have at some point suffered the sins of our fathers. Even though it says that, that's still not what's happening. The complete opposite is happening. And it is because it is being done purposely by some of your parents. Some of y'all have good parents. I can tell you that I'm a good parent. I'm the one that does the sacrificing for my children. They ain't got to sacrifice nothing for me. Okay. But there are some of y'all that have parents that, they saw you as an opportunity and that was it. You were not looked at as something valuable, as just like their offspring that's going to live and grow, because they didn't feel very good about themselves. So they could not possibly feel good about you. And that's why you experience those things. But then it's not just about that, it's about your reaction to it, because everybody has the right to go out here and make better choices than their parents. So you can't use them as an excuse. You can't say I'm a bad person because my mama did this or my mama did that. You can't say that, no matter what it was that she did. It can be horrible, tragic. Nobody else has to suffer for what your mother did or what your father did. But a lot of people think that because they're not really thinking straight. They don't really have the clarity that they need. So that's what you're dealing with out in this world. You're dealing with people that were mistreated, they were done wrong, and they couldn't see any way of dealing or coping with that except for attacking others. And you see that very often in the in witchcraft. You see it in the spiritual communities. It's sort of like that hidden thing that's hidden under the underbelly of people, sort of, transferring, their pain and their guilt and their iniquities to other people, their energy, their bad energy. Okay. And then you got some people that know damn well they got bad spirits around them. And they know that those bad spirits are doing harm to the people around them. But what they'll try to do is use those bad spirits against everybody. And you ain't supposed to do that either. Especially if you're practicing the craft. Yeah, we were all born with some of us had bad spirits around us. I know that even for me, I got some deep dark spirits. I put them away. I locked my own bad spirits up so that they wouldn't hurt people because I wanted to get along in the world. I wanted to be a blessing for people and not a curse. But at any moment, I can go and open up Pandora's box if I got to. If I got to unleash and tell them, hey, listen, this person, that person did that, go get them. Okay. But there's some people that don't know anything about that. It's just all freelance. And that's how people end up, but at the end of the day, I think that everybody has to have control over their spirits. Even I don't care what spiritual religious belief you have, because some people got spirits connected to them and attached to them that are just hurting people. They're just hurting people. They're just out there doing harm to people. And they think, yes, I am badass. No, you are literally a bane to. So if you have these kind of spirits connected to you, understand that, because there's a lot of people that I've had people come to me and they're like, well, this happened and that happened, and I feel that there's things attached to me that are hurting people. And I tell them, I say, well, you got to get control of that. You got to put them spirits somewhere, or maybe banish them, or put them somewhere to where you need to lock up Pandora's box so that you can get along in the world, because bad negative spirits, they'll just go around, they'll have you in a bad situation to the point where you feel like everybody out to get you. And I can promise I'm telling the truth. The first 3 years that I started my company, I did nothing but spiritual bathing. Anything that I felt could potentially do harm to innocent people, I put them away. And there was not many. There's one main one, two actually, but otherwise there's two. But they are being controlled. So I don't, and I would never lose control, because it would be almost like detonating it would be equivalent to detonating a nuclear bomb, and I'm not trying to do that. Okay. Yeah, and there will never be a situation where I feel like I would have to unleash that. So, that was something that I took care of very, very early on. And so ignorance is a sin. I don't, according to a lot of us witches and high priestesses, we feel like ignorance is a sin. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is not bliss. Yeah, it's a lot of people, boy, they'll have a spirit to the right of them, a spirit to the left of them, and that spirit is seething with, and the spirit may even be protecting the person. But you got to get a hold of that spirit so that it ain't just attacking people. Okay? Mm-hmm. Well, you know what, Raina? They talked about that in a lot of these movies are really, really very soothing to my soul. That movie, oh goodness, it was a whole series. Why can't I think of the name of that series of movies? Anyway, I'll think of it in a minute. But Insidious, the Insidious movies, okay? And y'all remember the newest, and one of the newest ones, the lady that, the lady that could communicate with the dead, and her father would beat her for it. And so she had a lot of trauma in her childhood. Yeah. And so that is really, really in reality has what has been the result of a lot of religious families, is that anybody that had those gifts is considered to be the devil, and they're bad and they're evil. And a lot of people that were raised in very religious families that had those gifts, that didn't have someone looking out for them, they didn't have someone looking out for them. Like their mother was very Christian, their mother was following behind daddy, and the mama just agreed with what daddy said, instead of being a woman and a witch about hers and saying, I can tell that my child is gifted and I have to do something to help my child. So we had a lot of suffering because of that. And yeah, the fault of that does lie upon men and their need for control and domination. That these that's why men have to take responsibility, but women too. So, but women, there used to be a time, and there's actually a law, I believe, that they just erected in Germany, to where your husband could beat you and your children. This is a new law, that your husband could take a stick no bigger than his thumb and beat you. That is I believe that law just got enacted, that if he beats you, that it is an act of love and kindness that your husband is beating you. So we still got a lot of work to do about that, and that is the work that needs to be done, because what's happening is that it is creating so much hatred and so much um division, to where there's a lot of women, they're just like, listen, I'd rather just be alone. I don't want to deal with this. The spirit of what some men would do, when they could make a choice and just live in peace and harmony. But instead, what they do is they go on the attack. So, when it comes to the witchy community, there's especially a lot of trauma surrounding your father saying and reading that Bible and saying, oh, this is evil. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to starve you. You're evil. You have a demon inside of you. Instead of, you know, um, embracing the child's gifts and teaching them how to control those gifts. Now, I believe there's another movie called June that talks about just this. It's on Netflix. It's called June. And this little girl, she went through a lot with her parents, was in foster care. She was extremely spiritually gifted, extremely. She was the girl with all the gifts. And they just literally was like, I feel like the actual meaning of the movie kind of, because you know how sometimes they'll start off with a message and then it'll go off into a lot of different other stuff. But in reality, that's what that is. And changes, sorry guys, I had to grab my coffee off the porch. Changes have to be made with that. Okay. This is one of the reasons why I'm very careful when it comes to men. Men can be your worst enemy sometimes because they are factually keeping us from surviving through this. A man that has no understanding of that is completely pointless to me. Mm-hmm. Thumping the Bible, being weird, being judgmental. Oh, you're not gonna get far with me like that. Hey, yeah, I'm curious as to what it tastes like, y'all. I got some coffee from Amazon, and it's Amazon brand. It's Happy Belly brand dark roast supreme blend. So yeah. Um, so I think that it's important, especially for spiritual communities, to not allow these types of people to infiltrate it. They've been doing it for the longest and bringing in all this ignorance and trauma, and it's been happening for the longest. That's good. That's good, Raina, that you're beginning to. That's good that you're beginning to heal. Yeah, you're right, Unique Jay. That is, the obvious. They get angry, they get mad, they come and they watch the readings. They get angry, they get upset. I don't understand why they just won't turn away. If you don't like it, if it's something that you have a problem with, then just turn away. But that's neither here nor there. A lot of those people have taken some kind of silly oath. A lot of the things that are happening, I believe that God in spirit does understand when you commit somewhat of a necessary evil, but the unnecessary things that are being done, it's almost like being at a crossroads. It's like, okay, you did all these things to a person when you could have taken the other route, and yeah, it was your choice, but you understand that you made a bad choice, you made a bad decision doing that to a person. So, I'm saying this to all of my students. I want to let y'all know where I stood on that. I do not believe in doing unjustified things to people with the craft. Not only do I not believe in it, but I'm totally against it. I believe that it ain't nothing but a setback. I believe that, no, I do not believe that people get away with that because they never have and they never will. They'll never get away with it. They thinking, oh, I've got diehard protection. And a lot of the times, the deities and the energies that they'll be using as protection, they can't do anything about it. They can't do anything about that. And yeah, we do still on this planet, even though it's like literally pandemonium. There is the differentiation between good and bad and right or wrong. Even though a lot of people will say, well, there's no difference between white and dark magic, or white black magic. Mm, there isn't, but there is a difference between right and wrong. Okay. So don't do that because that'll mess you up. It'll mess you up. And when you can create so many good things with the craft for yourself, why would you choose it for that? That's why a lot of people will go and they'll be good Christians, but then they'll come over to the world of witchcraft and act like devils and just be like our way of life, our beliefs are not your dumping ground. Isn't it? Witchcraft is not your what do you call that place where they take all the trash to? That we're not witchcraft is not trash. It's not a place for you to come and just act as repulsive as possible. Yeah, if someone came for you, you can choose to say, okay, I mean, this person needs to learn a lesson. Bippity boppity boop. Let me but if you're not moving on and you're just stuck in that and you're just trying to keep somebody in a cycle, it's almost like being in an egg. Everybody has the right to break your cycles that you put in their lives. No, they not. It's about envy, but it's also about control. It's about control. I had a man just recently tell me that I deserve to be homeless because I disrespected him. A complete delusion. He literally said that to me. He said I deserve to be homeless because I disrespected him, which meant that I talked back to him, which meant that I questioned what he said and was questioning what he was doing. These men can be very delusional. Yes, they can. Because that's all that is a delusion. He wishes that it was like that. That you might as well say that you're gonna murder somebody just because they disrespected you. That's a bit extreme. And I don't deal with people like that. I can't deal with that. That's ignorant. You're ignorant, you're delusional, you're evil. Yeah, he told me that. And, I just kind of cast it off because I don't believe a word that he says. Don't believe him, don't believe in him, would never, ever, ever accept his curses. But that's what he told me, And I hadn't done anything to him in the past week or two. We hadn't gotten into no arguments or nothing like that. Well, we did get into an argument because I told him, I said, you're not my father, you're not my husband, and you don't control me. You do not control any aspect of my life. And it's the truth. Go control your wife. Go control your children. Don't come over here with that mess. Yeah, I'll never forget he told me that. And, so yeah. And they do become delusional and disillusioned. That's, a man that says that to you, he thinks he's being a man, but he's actually a very corrupt person because, and again, that person goes there, they go there because the mama traumatized him and threw him out of the house when he was a child. So he takes it there. I don't create that. I ain't never got mad at him and said, you deserve to be homeless because you did what you did. That ain't even my vice. Take your vice and take your bad spirits and take your curses and your family problems and go save your drama for your mama because I don't have time for that. Yeah. And a lot of these men think that simply because of religion that they have the power of the tongue. Yeah, if I had a dollar, I do have a dollar for. I've made a dollar for every witch that is twisted and tied their tongues. Hmm. You don't have the right to speak death and destruction over somebody just because you don't like what they said. And he's a bit extreme, has little man Napoleon complex. So because to actually want to see somebody hurt, then y'all got to understand we live in the world with a lot of these men, they have dick demons. I call them dick demons. A lot of men will wish death on you just simply because you told them you didn't want to have sex with them. And I wanted to say to him, no, disrespecting you would have been sleeping with all of your enemies. Disrespecting you would have been doing a lot more things to you. But yeah, I've had men wish death on me because I wouldn't have sex with them. That like witches are very important, especially the ones that are just like me that don't play that crap. I think that love and relationships can be beautiful, the commitment ceremonies, but that is not a man. That is a perversion of a man. That's not a man. That's a perversion. There's no man ever that should say, I want you to die because you won't have sex with me. More than likely, if a man wants you to die because you won't have sex with him, because it's all about science too, science plays a part. If you won't sleep with a man, it's not just about the way that he looks. He probably, when you reject a man, it's pride. It's the way that he looks. But a man that says that probably has a deadly disease to pass to you. Yeah. And so in response to you saying no, he's like, oh, well, you won't let me pass this disease to you. I want you to die. So women have to understand the integrity of the woman. Listen, every woman that cowers under those types of men and covets those kind of men and respects them, she canceled as far as I'm concerned. You already are making a woman vulnerable to the physical overpowering of a man. But then you're also, so no, like when it comes to witchcraft, it is about women and it is about that sisterhood. No woman should ever do that. This is the reason why we got people running around here. We got women running around here setting up other women to get raped. Okay. And things like that. No, I would never in my life. Why? Because I love and respect myself, not even my worst enemy. I would never, ever, ever, even if a person was my worst enemy, I don't commit those kind of atrocities. If you're my enemy, okay, go somewhere and be my enemy. I've got you binded. I've got you blocked. You're donezo. I'm not gonna. I don't need to come back for vengeance for you. Okay. And so, and now if you sitting over there lighting candles on me and stuff, you gonna get all that stuff back. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But otherwise, I don't, I choose to focus on the people that I love. I choose to focus on my children. I choose to be happy. I choose to be virtuous. I choose to be harmonious. I don't want to, that, yeah, yeah. You know what, Raina? It would be interesting to have you on the panel one day because not too many people are open about when their father has hatred for them. But that right there, sis, that a lot of people are going through that to where their fathers hate them. We put a lot of emphasis on the mothers that are hating their children, but what about the fathers that are doing that? What about the fathers that are up to that no good? That's horrible. Because, I mean, you are literally, presumably, and you're not, but presumably to the world, if your father got it out for you like that and he crazy and he stupid, the world is going to look at you as a sitting duck. The world is going to look at you as nothing but an opportunity to do harm to you. And you know what? That is when you have to go to your spiritual father. You got to find your spiritual father. Mm-hmm. That's got to be hard. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. When your father, and I've heard of it. I've heard of it happening. I've heard horror stories. I've seen it, very extreme cases of fathers abusing their daughters. They let these men rape their daughters. They'll let all their friends have sex with her. They'll beat them. I mean, but the whole consensus, and yeah, there are very good fathers out there. Okay. I follow some of them in social media. You can tell that they're very good fathers. So nobody, whenever you bring these things up, a lot of people will say, well, I'm a good father. And we're not talking about that. We're not calling out if you are a good father, if you're a good parent, if you're a good mother. We're not calling you out. We're calling out the people that are doing that kind of crap. And it has to be dealt with. Okay, it has to be dealt with. The pain and suffering that these human beings have went through and suffered at the hands of these fathers. And you can't just say, oh, because there's good fathers and there's good mothers out there, that we can't address it. And then what they'll say is, they'll say things like, well, that's their child and they can do whatever they want to do with their child. And then a lot of people are really, really, really corrupt, in a sense to where they will say, oh, well, I brought you into this world and I can take you out. No, you didn't bring me into this world. God brought me into this world and kept me safe from you and your destruction long enough for me to get old enough to, take care of myself. Yeah. So that whole power corruption thing does happen when it comes to our fathers. Sometimes our parents will become corrupt with that. Okay, you do what I say for my purpose, and if you don't do it, I'm gonna attack you. And that's not the job of a parent. It's not, you know. Yeah. Thank you, Raina. So, anyway, back to what we was talking about. Witchcraft does not give you a license to harm people like that. And and well, first of all, yeah, you do have to be balanced. Yeah, it is good to understand what is considered to be good or bad things. Yes, there is a way for you to do money magic to where it's not dark. But there has been no witch ever, though, that has not had to deal with dark energies, because some people are dealing with the thing to where your money magic may have to consist of taking your energy back. Okay. Some of y'all need to take your energy back. Some of y'all need to take back, because people do steal, people do thieve. And I'm not talking about now, if you obviously have something going on and somebody comes and emulates it, and that's different. But the dressing of the candles, the writing of the petitions, that's pretty universal when it comes to the craft. um you know so we have a lot of that in social media. And a lot of people, they'll just be sending out that chaos, and that chaos gotta come, it gotta come right back to you. you know so if you guys have bad parents, you know that there's a way for you to bind your parents from doing harm to you. You can do that. No child is just like a subservient slave. And a parent is not a master to you. That's not what a parent is supposed to be. A parent is supposed to be the nurturer and the protector, and that's all it is to it. Yeah, it is absolutely disgusting. When you come into this world, yeah, and you're being raised by that ignorance, yeah, they do put that spirit, that energy around you, to where you'll attract those kind of people. They'll even bring those kind of people. They'll even discuss you with those people, how I want my child to be treated. They'll have conversations with them. Yeah, just mistreat this person. They talked about in that Tyler Perry movie to where that man was abusing that woman and the mother was just egging him on and because she wanted money. So yeah, it's a lot of injustices. Witchcraft can bring justice where there needs to be, but a lot of people are using it for baneful. And specifically when clients come to you and they they say, "Oh, this person did this to me," um and lie on somebody, and it turns into 10, 15, 20 years of, or either a lifetime of stalking, harassment, slander. Somebody lie on you, they can ruin the rest of your life. And yeah, I have done it before. Witchcraft does bring out the truth. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, you don't let no man abuse your kids. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You don't let the father abuse your children. So this coffee is pretty good. Anyway, y'all. So that's one of the things that I teach you in protection. Not just about salt, not just about camphor, not just about eggshells, not just about certain things, but it's also about protecting yourself by not doing things that can harm you. And that is one of them. Putting an entire curse on somebody, especially when it comes to Christians. Boy, they will throw that dang on Psalms curse 109 on somebody in a heartbeat without thinking about it. But you have to think about what you're doing before you do it. You can't just be throwing stuff at people and they doing stuff willy-nilly. What's do you do if you know a parent has done some witchcraft on you and now they're no longer alive? You can still reverse it. And if your parent has passed away and they did some witchcraft on you, everybody presumes or they assume that things are all settled. Sometimes you have, just because somebody passes away doesn't mean that the evil and the grudges that they had in for you as your they it don't always pass with them. So I would say do a good banishing salt ritual on them. Keep them in a thing. The parents can be considered a bad ancestor, you know and if you pick up on their spirit, that they're still bringing that crap into your life, then you have every right to get that out of your life. Mm-hmm. Raina said, I've been doing a lot, getting rid of energy vampire work recently. Yeah, you do. Because what energy vampires do is they put bad spirits on you to connect to your sources in the body, deep in the body. What they do is they connect. They're like parasites to the body, and they'll be run they'll from the head to toe. That's why whenever they're doing it, a part of their process is talking about your hair. They'll talk about your feet. They'll talk about your stomach. They'll talk about your butt. They'll talk about your legs, because they're putting things in it so that they can connect and pull your energy. So what's very important is clearing that stuff off of you. So that's good, you've been doing that. Hey, Miss Cheesecakes. I know that's right. Get them cheesecakes done. I still want that plum cheesecake with the plums and the yeah. Oh, and you know what? Another thing is that some of your parents are vampiring off of you too. It's unnecessary to vampire off of somebody. You know, it seems very glitchy too. It's very glitchy. That's a glitch. That shouldn't even be existing. Unless you're a vampire. If vampires drink blood. So, you know what I'm saying? That energy vampirism, that's a glitch. That ain't supposed to be happening. Like I was saying a few weeks ago, there's a big wide sun out there. Like, why would you need to feed off of another person? Nobody should have to feed off of another person unless they're an alien or something. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're some kind of alien. So, you know, but I don't believe that anybody walking around here is an alien, but I do believe that some of them do have these bad alien contacts. Yeah. And you have to watch out for that kind of stuff. You know that, yeah, trying to figure out a way to ship food. You probably have to do it in dry ice. You definitely need to check with the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, in your area and get pointers for that. I know that there's some places in California that don't allow food like that to be shipped. So yeah, just look up the law about that. You know, I know that there are some people that do ship food as a business, and you know how the pink sauce lady and everything, all that stuff and misfortune that happened with her. But I think that it was mainly her attitude. A lot of people either hate that lady, or either they feel bad for her, or either they support her. So yeah. That's cool, Unique J. Yeah. Well, I only say that because I order from a farm over in Georgia. Um, I order like my beef tongues, and sometimes I order food for the family to eat, and I do eat beef tongue too. I like making tacos out of it, but um, what they do is they ship it very deep frozen, but it's in dry ice. So you know, it probably will have to be very deep freezed and then put the dry ice with it. Is how I would do to maintain the food integrity. You're doing various techniques. Okay. My sister used to talk me down and say evil things to me. I didn't realize she was jealous at the time. Yeah, and then she was also an agent for your parents too, Unique J. You know, it's not uncommon for them to train one sibling against the other. Yeah. Okay. Which is so sad. I'm gonna tell you, as a person that grew up as an only child, I wanted a sister or a brother so bad because, you know, when I was younger, I don't care now. But, you know, well, I do have adopted brothers and sisters, well, mainly sisters, because I'm just trying to think if I have any. Yeah, I almost adopted one brother, but he just kind of fell by the wayside, and betrayed me. But yeah, I got a lot of adopted sisters. Mm-hmm. Yeah, beef tongue is, man, it's delicious. Like, I'm like, bro, this stuff is good. I love me some beef tongue, man. That stuff is delicious. You just have to peel that, you have to cook it and peel that outer layer off. Oh God, it's the best meat ever. And it's so tender. And so I plan on making some beef tongue stew. Yeah. I make some beef tongue stew with the potatoes and some celery and some carrots and stuff on in there, onion and oh God, yeah, it's good. Or you can make tacos out of it and stuff, you know. Yes, good mom. Yes, you do have to banish things away from your children. That has lit. I'm gonna tell you something. The past, especially 3 years, I've been banishing bad spirits off of my children, trying to figure out how to keep them off. Y'all. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I don't attack people's children. If I got a problem with you, I'm coming straight for your head. I don't, even adult children. I don't do that. But there was this lady at my daughter's complex that was tripping with her. Oh, I did a little work on her, and last week she was acting a fool, went straight to jail. And she told my daughter, she said, "I ain't gonna mess with you no more." I said, "I know you not." Hey, Shamika. Mm-hmm. Why was you sick, Unique J? I have one blood sister whom I wish would just leave me the fuck alone. I'm choosing another sibling. I know how to be an awesome sibling. Yeah, that whole sibling rivalry thing. When I noticed that I think that that's the parents' responsibility, because there is nothing more blessed than having siblings. That's got to be special to have a brother or a sister that you're close with, and you can tell that the parents did a really good job of making sure that their children got along and everything. So when I saw that my daughters was having an issue, I quickly fixed that. Mm-mm. Y'all, I told my daughters and I told all my children, I said, y'all are all y'all have besides me in this world, and y'all better get along. That's the one thing I put my foot down about. Y'all better get along, because y'all are going to be able to have each other's backbone. Y'all need to work together. Y'all need to stick together. Y'all are family. That's it. And that's very common in families that are very cursed, to where nobody gets along, sister and brother against each other. Aunt and your nieces and all that stuff. And, those are things that the elders had the power to do, but instead they was sitting there. It was almost like Fight Club, like they enjoyed it. No, I did not enjoy seeing my kids not get along. And what I did was I did work. I could First of all, I divinated and I could see exactly where the crap was coming from, and I got rid of that stuff off of my kids. I ain't about to play that, and see, they don't like, because they like they chaos. That for some reason they just love to see people fight, like cats and dogs. And cats and dogs don't even fight. I've been in many households where there was a cat and a dog and they got along. They loved each other, in fact. But you got people out there, they just love seeing people fight. Just fight, 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 fight. And everything's a fight. And then ooh, ooh, ooh. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. It is a constant. Those people that got that spirit in them, when they are trying to pretend to be calm and in a loving disposition, it's all fake. Those people want nothing more than to see two people kill each other. That's just the reality of it. Yeah. I do like oxtails. I haven't made them in a long time. I have not made oxtails in a while. And I like to season them in my own specific way. Now, I have had oxtails purchased at a Jamaican restaurant. They're good because I like the way that oxtail meat tastes, but I got my own little way I like seasoning stuff. So like for me, I would like I think like a real faint lemony. I'm a garlic person. I love garlic. I can eat boy. I can put a whole thing of garlic in the oven and roast it. Just put it in there in the paper and everything, and you squeeze that garlic out. Oh, so good. And I like to add a little bit of lemon, a little bit of, and I just love that. And so I want to make some lemon garlic oxtails. I haven't had them like that with some greens and some potatoes. Yes. No one knows. The doctors can't tell me why it all happened at one time. I was told because of what people put on me, but that's a whole story for another conversation. Yeah. So, yes, when the doctors cannot diagnose what is wrong, telltale sign of bad spirits and things manifesting within the body. So, it is perfectly fine for clients to come to us that have those issues and for us to assist them and guide them and do the healing work for them, because that would be considered to be a medical mystery. Okay. Now, if your doctor has diagnosed you with something, yes, you can still do naturopathic treatments. Yes, you can. You can do the craft, you can do healing witchery, but we do respect doctors. Okay. I don't, because I feel that there are certain things that it can be very risky. And I've seen faith healers, people have died because of faith healers. Like, no, like, I have a client that was on dialysis, and I told her, I said, you keep going to your dialysis. Do not, no, we're not doing that, and I ain't never telling you to not do your dialysis. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, lemon garlic oxtails. Mm-mm-mm. That's how I like to cook them. And I like to get like a and I wonder if they got lemon seasoning and like I don't want the lemon pepper seasoning. They need to sell powdered lemon seasoning. Where can I find that at? So you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I guess you could do that yourself. You can make your own powdered lemon seasoning. You'd have to probably keep it in the refrigerator. You could dry it out in the food dehydrator and you can blend it up, and then you got powdered lemon. He tried to embarrass me at and even for my child. I was like, what? Who tried to embarrass you? Was that your father, Raina? Yeah, let me tell y'all something. Here's a number one telltale sign that your father ain't no good. If you done had grandbabies and that man ain't called and said nothing, I'm sorry. I am a grandmother. And my granddaughter lights up my life. Oh my God, I just, uh, you know, there is no way that I could ever not call and say, where my grandbaby at? Now, I love my children too, all equally. If your father or your mother ain't calling them grandkids, and I'm not talking about calling to the point where they like, what you doing to my grandchild? I want to take custody of my grandchild. I'm not talking about calling to do drama. I'm talking about, I miss my grandbaby. I want to talk to her. I want to see her. I want to see my grandson. I want to, where's my grandson? See, that's a sign. If they're not doing that, something is wrong and they may be up to no good. Hey, maybe I'm not even gonna lie to you. There's no way. I don't trust a man. I don't trust a grandparent that can't talk, that won't talk to their own grandchildren. I can't trust you, boo boo. Now, if your daughter or whatever won't let you see them, then that's different. But if you had plenty of space and opportunity to call your grandbaby and say, oh my God, and I'm not talking about with foul intent, all that they book, because they be paranoid and delusional. You be sitting there like, I swear, I be sitting there. I always like to make nice. I used to buy, and I still do sometimes, that popcorn, you pop it in the microwave, but now I make my popcorn homemade. I'll be sitting there eating, me and the kids be sitting there, we be watching movies, and and eating popcorn, and we don't be thinking about doing nothing evil, and then they be sitting up there having a gossiping conversation with some bum talking about what they over there doing. They don't love us, they don't appreciate us. It's like, well, first of all, we live in our lives. It's like, and then that's a telltale sign, something is wrong there. Like, what's wrong with you? You just and we just over here, we got baked chicken and some damn California mixed vegetables with some fucking rolls and some extra cheesy macaroni and cheese. And we getting ready to eat dessert, watch movies. But they got all this chaos and hatred. Hold on. Oh shoot, hold on. Okay, they just got all this hatred and visceral for you. And it's like, why are you so crazy and paranoid? They I'm like, why? Oh yeah, Unique J. And when we move into our new place, um, I'm gonna I'm gonna get the encyclopedia of herbs. Yeah, and yeah, I'm gonna do that. Mm, yeah, I made sure that I kept a good relationship with my children, and if I ever have any feelings that something like I can see anything coming towards my children, I can see, and everything got to stop, everything, because even if I know it can't touch them, I'm still gonna send that back. Don't send nothing to my kid. People will send things to your children. They will. Cow shit. That's funny, Miss Laverne. Yeah. And you know what? In a lot of ways, I think, because, I've been looking at all these stories. Like for me, I don't mind staying single the rest of my life as long as I got plenty of money to take care of my family and to make sure I leave them something, because it's unfortunate that some of us had children with men that we didn't get along with. But I think that for me, and that's why I was single for so long, because I put a man ain't in for you. And they be trying to act like women are supposed to be more concerned about having a man than they children. And it's like, now I got to make sure that, now I'm realizing, because I was thinking I'm gonna wait till the kids get older, but now I'm thinking I ain't even gonna try to meet no husband until all my kids are grown and out of the home. And it's not to say that the man that I marry is not going to be a good stepfather. It's not to say that. But, but, you know, I got things to do. I ain't got time to be there to have sex. I ain't thinking about no sex. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they, oh no, God, no. Mm-mm. And the thing of it is that when it comes to um they don't really understand us, and then they'll start talking all that perverted stuff, and it's like, now I'm making sure that my children, all of the focus, and see, that's why I was saying, if it's a man that's high maintenance, sometimes a man will start acting up right when you need to protect your children. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You go on somewhere where you need to go. You're not these children's father. You ain't my concern. You are not my priority. Sometimes, right when something will be getting ready to get thrown at your children, a man will get to acting a fool. And I don't think so. Now, you can go, sir. You can go. You can go wherever you need to go. I don't care what it is, where it is, but you got to get the heck on up out of here. And we ain't gonna never be, we're not gonna ever live in a world where women that are mothers are gonna like I wish I would ever. So I've noticed that when males get to acting a fool, or the man that you dating get to acting a fool, you need to look to your children and say, oh, what's being thrown at my children? Because obviously, he may be in on something that's getting thrown at my children. You know? Uh-uh. Uh-uh. So, that's the least of my concern. A man telling me I'm sexy. I already know I'm sexy. I don't need for you to tell me that, honey. You know? And I wish that I would have kept it that way. I'd have shoot it. Can you imagine, boy? Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Men want to act like and pretend that women are supposed to make them our whole life. I'm sorry. Well, you ain't never been worth it. All them problems and stuff they be trying to bring to your kids and bring into your life, you got to go. Hmm. So, what was we talking about though? Yeah. Then I think that I think that society sometimes tries to tell us that women have no identity outside of a man. And that's sad. That's sad. If we continue on that cycle, oh God, where we would be as a society. And I've been looking at all these stories about a lot of these men and, the way that oh God, they be killing these women and stuff. Oh God. And you better believe that witchcraft will protect you from that. A lot of people think that it won't, but it will. It will. You call to the right spirit, you call and you do the correct work, and that man can sit up there. Cause a lot of them, oh God, they're just so treacherous, so evil, so deceitful. Hmm. I covered my windows with protection rules. I sure did. I need a lot of work that needs to be done for me and my daughter. Okay. Well, you're more than welcome to contact me. I wasn't really seeing a lot because I didn't see a lot that you said, but yeah, that it's that bad spirit people for some reason. And I've noticed that men will be responsible for this. For some reason, they get a kick out of creating division between mother and daughter. And sometimes even the father will do that. I'm just so disgusted. And yeah, they will put witchcraft and baneful magic behind it. Yes, they will. Because even though we can have a spiritual mother, it's best to have the mother. It's best to have the mother that gave birth, or either an adopted mother that's looking out for their best interests. Yeah. So, and they purposely doing a lot of division. And a lot of them are doing it to discredit women. And that's why I said, if y'all only knew, because I'm a mind reader, I can read their minds and I can hear their meetings. They are awful. A lot of these men, not all of them, but some of them are awful. They got these plans devised against us. And I'll be sitting there listening. I'll be like, Lord have mercy. I'll be like, what is this walking around this earth? The most dumbest, pettiest, but very evil plots. And sometimes they'll have women along with them. And some of these men are crazy. I had one of them that didn't want nobody in the world to love me. He just wanted me to be completely devoid of love in my life. He wanted everybody against me and everybody to hate me. And it wasn't because of anything that I had done, just because he's just an evil person, just very vindictive. Speaking of which, I'm going to get off of here because I got some work to do. I do. And they hate witches because witches bring about justice against men like that. That's why they can't stand us. They really, and they, oh God, they can't stand us. And I told this man one day, I just looked at him, I said, you know what, you just really hate me, don't you? Hate you for what? Look at all this stuff you dealing with. No, you tried to cause that purposely, but that'll all get cleared up. Why you hate me so much? Mm, why you hate me so much? What I ever do to you? It ain't what I did to him. It was what his mama did to other women, did to him, what he did to himself. Especially when you are nothing but kind to a person, patient with a person. And you know what? I am an Indian giver. Give me all of it back. I want it all back. All the love and the patience and the kindness that I gave to you, give it back. Yep. That's the way that it is. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. Y'all stay safe. And we're gonna be transitioning to another place, but you guys can still get your readings and stuff. I know that there's this group of people that's just like, she gonna be out of there any day and they gonna come. Da, 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 da. No, I need my clients to, that's why they go around doing this stuff and they're real weird and they're oddly odd and they're gonna regret it. They probably already do. But you guys get your stuff set up, especially if you're planning on becoming an apprentice or students. Because if you become an apprentice, I have to mail you a big box. I drop ship you a big box of supplies. You get a lot of supplies with it. And, that stuff can take about a week or so to ship to you. Maybe well, I'd say probably like 3 days. We'll give it a couple of days processing time that gets drop shipped from my supplier, and I'll be in my new place. Okay, yeah, that I don't know though because my landlord, I'm trying to give them a chance. I'm trying to give them a chance to make good on the stuff that they did. Okay, so now they did send somebody over here to patch the roof. They gonna end up having to fix that roof. Like, just replace the roof. Why would you come and patch? What is that? You gonna come and patch a roof that ceiling still gonna be leaking down there? Lord help us all. Yeah. Oh goodness gracious. Just to think that a landlord's actions can actually destroy your dreams of home ownership or delay you. That's just so sad on so many freaking levels. So much hate. that goes into that. And that's why I'm taking my landlord to court, to superior court. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and we deserve a nice, safe place to live. I don't know when. I can tell you, boy, I have truly been battling the most evil in the world, and it's because I do good. And it's sad. So y'all make sure that y'all get stuff in, because they try to make you seem unstable or something getting ready to happen or something, something, something. Ain't nothing getting ready to happen. Yeah, we are moving, unless it depends on what the landlord does. But that the what's wrong with the roof ain't gonna take 15 minutes to fix. That's an all day job, maybe even 2 or 3 days. Like, they came by today and cleaned out the gutters and stuff and said they put a patch on it. That ain't like, Laura, you realize that you try and take these shortcuts, and then it's another issue that they cited them for the, oh God, it just, guys, honestly, I'm encouraging you guys to place your orders and stuff, because and I don't know, and it's probably even more structural damage that they can see, because they can't rent this place out. What they want to do is they want to get people out as quickly as possible so they can re-rent it. But those people told me, they said they can't rent this place with it being with these code violations. They can't do that. So that's what they, because they greedy. It's greed. And I love this house, man. And the spirits in this house really love me, and they just be like, "Don't go," and I'm like, "Well, it's out of my hands. If I can't be, I don't own this house." And they like, "Well, try to buy it." And it's like, "Well, that's a little bit more complicated than that." Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly, which woman in total control of herself. I think that they base what they want to do on the way that you look, because I think that it has something to do with the way that I look. They think that I'm stupid. They think that I'm dumb. They think that I'm weak, you know. And then being that I'm very nice and patient, Mhm. So yeah, y'all don't be shy when it comes to, and I've had people send me in some nice donations. I appreciate that so much, because we need it right now. We do. Because these people, they were running around here, they were lighting candles trying to block my money and stuff. They gonna really regret what they did to me. You know what I'm saying? They really are. So, and once we get to the new place, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking about getting in some kind of corporate housing for a minute. It just really depends. I'm gonna give the landlord a few more days to see what he says. He already told me that just let me know, if you're ready to move, or whenever you're ready to move, or whatever. And and so then, but then the code people came out here, the county codes people came out. And so I can imagine that he's angry about that. But you understand that when you are a landlord, you have to take care of these things, and and so that's one of the reasons why I'm suing him, because I'm like, I feel like you owe me money. You owe me money. All those years I've been here just paying into rent, and living in a place where there's a raccoon just running around sliding. I told y'all that damn raccoon, y'all. That damn raccoon would go. It would scurry up that little thing and then slide down, and then it'll scurry back up. And I'm just like, oh my God. For a whole year. For like, and I'm like, and you really? It is, it's greed. They don't care. But see, just recently they passed a law in Georgia, and these judges and stuff in these courtrooms, they better take heed. They passed a law in Georgia, and all the evidence got sent into the courts because I was sick at the time, and I sent all that stuff, and I know they like, God dang, what in the world? And a lot of these landlords can go to jail for that. It is a huge responsibility being a landlord. And I asked the guy that came to fix the stuff today. They were literally only here for like maybe 30 minutes, which I know you ain't gonna fix no roof in 30 minutes. And so I asked him, I said, don't these people have insurance or homeowners insurance? What? Because he said if they can patch it, they'll just patch it. But they're gonna avoid fixing the roof. I'm like, I'm like, don't these people have insurance? And he said, well, it works the same, whenever you go through your insurance company, because they got a deductible. And whenever you go through the insurance company, it'll raise your premium. So I gotta live here with a bad roof and all this stuff going on because they don't want their insurance premiums to go up $50. Oh my God, this is highway robbery. This is highway robbery. And then sending me through all these changes to where they are literally disrupting, literally disrupting the flow of my life. And it ain't like they didn't know when I moved in that I was running a business. They knew that I didn't put no fake job on my application. I filled when I filled out my application for this house, it said owner of Divine Services. So they knew I was self-employed. So anyway, y'all, yeah, don't be shy about doing that, and don't let these people on here because boy, they sure and the silly reasons that like literally that they wanted to just mess up everything that I had built for myself, oh my God, absolutely ridiculous. Not to say that they're not responsible for my landlord. My landlord is a separate thing. They would like to believe that, just like they probably saying we made your roof go bad. Sure you did. Sure you did. We made that tree overgrow and damage the roof. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you did that. Or you God? Yes, I'm God. That. Guys, what are y'all? Because I do okay when a lot of people say I am God, I understand that what you're saying is that you're God of self. You know what I'm saying? You have God consciousness. But for these people to say, I'm God, I'm the air, I'm the water, I'm the whole universe. And it's just like I'm sorry. You know, Yeah, and this is an older home. This home was built, I believe, in the 80s. So this house is very old. It's a character home. So surely after 20 or 30 years, it's going to need a replacement roof. Because you can see when you roll up to my house that the roof needs to be replaced. It just, you look at it and go, wow, look at that roof. Wow, look at that roof. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just asking for, and oh, this is another thing I wanted to talk about with the landlord tenant thing. Why do people think that just because they're renting out houses versus apartments that they have to do less? So, like for example, if I lived in an apartment or even a condo, more than likely they would have said when the problems first arose, they would have said, well, let's just move you to a different unit while we work on that, or either just permanently move you so we can get this taken care of. I worked in property management for over 20 years, so I know what I'm talking about. That's what we would do. We would have to move people to a different apartment. You know what I'm saying? If they had issues like what I've been having. Why do what's up with these property management companies that rent these? How is the standard should still be the same for houses and apartments? Hey, Jasmine. Hello. Hi. The standards should still be the same. You have other units that you could have moved me to 2 years ago. They offered no accommodations, and it's like the problem just kind of sat and festered and got worse. So I'm just like, what's going on here? But yeah, a lot of them, they act like a home is different from an apartment, and it's not. You still should go through the same standards of treatment, because I mean, in an apartment, they've got other units they can move you to, or if they don't have something else for you, well, I tell you what, I'd say that my loss and my pain and suffering, what that would be about 3-4 months of rent. Give me my money back. I want my money back. Hello? That's how I look at it. I want my money back. Oh, anyway, I was just about to get out of here, Jasmine. In fact, I was just about to read your book because I didn't get to read it yesterday because I was way too busy. I'm about to sit here and read it now. So thank you for popping up in the chat. Even though I didn't forget about it, I'm getting ready to do that because I think it's something in there that I need. Okay. But I will see y'all later. Okay. Love and light, peace and love, dark blessings to y'all, whatever. Okay. All right, guys. Bye.